Hello, and welcome to La Petite Mort, where we talk about death, horror, and everything that goes bump in the night. My name is Carolyn, and this is Rob. And today he's going to talk about a little friend he's had with us since, I guess, childhood.
Since childhood, yeah.
Around what age?
Damn, I was small. I was really small. I was probably like 6-ish when this guy popped up for the first time.
And you said he came as like a bull? Like what type of...
Yeah.
Okay, and he's like a shapeshifter type of thing. He's always...
No, that's the first time he's made himself visible. Usually, that's the first time, like, that was the first thing that made me, like, where everything changed. You know? I've seen, like, the shadows. They're men. They're not men. Some of them are animal-like, serpentine, insect-like. They're always, well, the same insect ones are not like little shadow bug, but like they're large.
So it's almost like multiple, or it just...
It's a bunch of them. And some of them, like I said, some of them are serpentine, and some of them are flyers, you know, little shadow crows or whatever, you know?
Shadow crows.
But this was the only time I ever saw the bull, and that's when it all kicked off, when I saw that. And it was also the only one that had red in his eyes, had color in his eyes. That's...
The rest were like just dark, like shadowy?
That's it.
But there's only one that actually, like, I guess that you can hear, or is it multiple is it the same voice every time?
It's the one.
Just the one. What's he saying right now?
It's telling me to shut up and not talk.
Talk about it? Alright. And how exact does he sound like? What's his voice? Can you describe the voice, or is it kind of just...
It's a raspy whisper.
Raspy whisper. Like, has it changed over the years, and, like... I mean, like, has it developed as you've grown as a person? Like, do you feel like, I don't know, like your attachment's, like, maturing?
Yeah, I'm way more in control than I was.
Okay. So...
I almost feel like it's an extension of myself now. Like, I don't mind as much anymore.
You don't mind it? You feel like it... I feel like you almost think that it betters you in certain ways, because it kind of gives its opinions about certain people. It gives its... it seems to be very opinionated when it talks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an understatement. It's always got something to say.
Uh-huh.
But, I don't know, like... I guess it's been with me for the vast majority of my life, so I don't even know what it would be like without it. You know? So... I've just grown very accustomed to having it around. It can mess with you, like, you know, not mess with you, but, like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's influenced my emotional evolution, you know? Like, people are looking for, like, happiness or whatever, right? I don't feel that on my own, you know? I don't feel those kinds of things. But, like, when it's around... the Halloween time of year, you know what I mean? That
when the veil is thin.
There's a feeling in the air. I could almost taste it, smell it.
The veil is
all around
technically thin right now with the month of May. Do you feel any different in May, or is it just around that fall solstice time?
Honestly, lately, I haven't taken any time to notice, but it would make sense because for some odd reason, I've been feeling very, very inspired. Like, I have been on a creative kick like a beast lately. I should feel exhausted, but I don't. Like, on top of my regular square day job, you know, like, I have this constant, like, inspiration to create the things that I create, you know?
And I totally robbed you of that. Rob. I totally robbed him of that. This is the owner and operator of Slither. He is a very creative mastermind behind just, you could do collars, jewelry.
Right now I'm focusing primarily on, I started with doing, like, death jewelry, bones and animal parts. And
I still have your snake vertebrae earrings.
Human teeth. But lately I've been really, like... slithering, I guess, would be a good way to put it, into, like, blasphemous rosaries, you know, like occult jewelry, and a lot of BDSM-style leather accessories. So,
would you think that, what exactly do you call him? Your, like, passenger, your attachment? Like, what do you call him? Like, what do you feel like he is? Just, like...
Passenger.
Just a passenger.
I never, like I said, I only it started when I saw that shadowy bull with the red eyes when I was a child. The thing never comes to the front of me. It doesn't, like, I don't ask it, like, who are you, what's your name? I've never once been curious to know. It's just there, you know? Sometimes when it's particularly intense, I could almost feel its hands on my shoulders, as if somebody were directly behind me with their hands on my shoulders, just whispering into my ear.
And that's like when emotions are high, or when does he act up the most?
It could be when emotions are really high, or it could be if I'm just really, I don't know, there's no real pattern. I mean, it could be when I'm super, like, charged right now with, like, you know, inspiration, or I hear it a lot, or it could be when I'm really down. Like, maybe I went through a nasty breakup or divorce. That was a pleasant time. You know.
You want to? What exactly did he say, or the influence in that time? Was it a lot darker? I mean, he obviously influences you creatively. Did you feel like a more darker creative path, or did it?
It helped rationalize my decision to divorce my ex-wife. You know, it helped to rationalize it. It can be. It can, like, really try to influence selfishness, you know, a lot.
But it also seems to call people out on that. I know that you've mentioned before, it's like it always seems to say negative things about your friends. Does it ever say, like, nice things about them? Like,
no, not always negative. Not always negative.
Not always.
You know what I mean? If it's something... okay, I don't know, maybe it is fucking always negative.
Can you think of a positive thing your passenger has said about our friend Lynn? Can you think of one? Maybe Lynn's not a good
I was going to say, you didn't have to go there, dude.
Think of one nice thing your passenger has said about Lynn or Kira.
But see, that's all, like, that is just a matter of, like, how you take its words. I don't think it's negative or positive, you know what I mean? It just...
Observant.
It
almost.
just says what's there, you know what I mean? Like, when I was... If I'd be attracted to girl A or whatever, you know what I mean? It'll be like, you know what, this broad you're kind of fucked up. You're kind of bullshit, you know what I mean? You're kind of damaged, just like you. You guys...
just like you.
You guys are gonna fucking click. But just so you know, even this is the part that sucks. Just so you know, that's not meant to work. Your kind of damage doesn't last. You know, with someone else like you, it's meant to fall apart. It's meant to be just, you know, to go down in flames. So when you have said lady, enjoy it while it lasts, because it won't last long. It says shit like that.
It's so negative, but it's almost like kind of, you rationalize it because it is kind of realistic but it's like, does it always end that way because you've always had the same mindset? Or...
Well, a long time ago, actually, I had to grow into it, because for the longest time I thought there was something seriously wrong with me. You know, I was like, remember, I was raised Catholic. I know, right? That's funny. But I was raised Catholic, and this thing made me feel like I was, like, tainted or possessed or cursed or something, you know what I mean? And there was a tremendous amount of guilt and shame and a lot of negativity on my part that came with it, you know what I mean?
What do you tell people?
You don't fucking tell them a damn thing.
Exactly.
You know? You don't tell them jack shit. But, yeah, after a while, I was all like, you know... After trying to fight that, which was a really bad idea, I just thought to myself, dude, this is what you are. And it's not trying to, like, lead you astray, it's just trying to point out this is what you are. So the moment you accept that, the moment you stop trying to please or change yourself for other people or whatever, you know, the more you will find some kind of inner peace. It may not be the kind of peace that other people seek out, but it'll be your kind of peace, the kind that's required for you to feel calm and good about your station in life and your place in the world and with those around you, you know? And I was like, it took me a while to be like, shit, I gotta own this. I gotta own my darkness. It took me a long time.
I think that's a really big part in everyone's, like, it's like everyone has this guilt about and shame in some kind of way about some aspect of who they are, and it's like you have to either learn to live with it or you just you don't, and it's it's kind of miserable if you don't, because you live with so much shame and guilt and just being afraid of who you are, and that's no way to live. It's almost like, why even live at all?
Exactly. You get this one crack at existence in this form. There's no sense in fighting what you are, you know?
Seems like he's helped you grow in a lot of ways, especially, do you mind talking about, like, the military at all? Did he affect your service in that? Do you think it helped you?
No. No, because at that point in my life, I was really...
How old were you when you were...
When I enlisted?
Yeah.
I was 18.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was, like, early on or if you had waited before you enlisted.
No. I was 18 years old.
So that was when you were still learning to adapt to all of it and really become who you are with it.
Yeah, around that point in my life, I was really, really exploring that part of myself, you know, and I failed miserably at so many turns were wrong turns, but I was at that point, you know, when you're 18, you don't care.
Right.
You're just in it for you're along for the ride, you know? So a lot of things didn't work out, a lot of things went bad, and I was just like, at the time I was like, oh man, so well, you know. Oh well. But then again, I was also a more aggressive person back then, you know, like young and just becoming a man, and I was like, I needed...
Testosterone kick.
Dude, it was bad. You would have hated young Rob.
Oh boy. Did you see combat or?
No.
No,
I spent my entire enlistment in Japan.
How was that? Did the attachment seem different in Japan at all? Did it seem to like it better?
It loved it.
It loved it.
It loved it, and I'll tell you because, well, for one, I was on that precipice of boy becoming a man, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew. And as a teenager, there's a lot of things about myself where I knew I was alone. You know, like I liked this, you know, a bunch of the stuff that my friends liked, but there was a whole lot more going on in my head, a whole lot more. And if I tried to like talk about it with my buddies, they were like, "What the fuck?" You know, they would look at me like, "What the shit?" You know, and I'm like, "All right, can't talk to you about that one." Yes. Damn. So it was all, and this is also pre-internet days, like internet now, so like I felt totally fucking alone. You know what I mean? I was like, shit, dude, there might be something wrong with me. Like, I'm just so goddamn dark and perverse. It's so, you know? And then I got to Japan and I was like, whoa, Tokyo is that kind of place. It's that kind of place where you could be anything you want, everything you never knew you wanted.
Really? You wanna go into that more?
Well, where do I start with that one? All right, you know when kids are dicking around in high school and hooking up and everything? Mm-hmm. Most guys are just glad to be there. You know, I'm just glad to be there. Actually, that stretches well into their freaking late 20s, early 30s. I'm just glad to be here.
Happy to be a participant. Exactly.
Not me. I took it into different directions a lot, and a lot of the girls were like, oh my God, what are you doing to me? And I'm like, just check this out. You know,
check it out.
And then I got to Japan and I discovered the fetish community. You know, and I'm like, yes, there's other people like me.
So that's when you first discovered it. It wasn't even in America. You had to go to Japan to find out.
Well, I enlisted in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my high school in Japan.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought you went when you were 18 and that's where...
No. I first hit... the first time I went to Okinawa, I was 11 years old.
Okinawa.
My dad was a Marine for 24 years.
It just reminds me of the Karate Kid. I'm sorry.
And you know what? That is total BS too, because all those places you see in the Karate Kid, that's not Okinawa. That's bullshit.
I know. They like made up a place and called it Okinawa.
Well, they said this is Kadena Air Base, and there's like helicopters, and I'm like, I've been to Kadena Air Base. There's no helicopters. That's ridiculous. Doesn't look anything. It never looked like that. You know, but yeah, I've been. By the time I was stationed in Japan, I'd already lived in Japan twice.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I was actually not trying to go back to Japan. I was actually trying to go to Germany. You know, but it didn't work out, and I got sent to Tokyo. Not that I'm complaining.
So as far as like the fetish community goes, when your attachments in that kind of scene, like say you're like in like, you know, like a deep fetish party and there's some crazy shit going on, is your attachment like loving it? Is it saying...
I am at peace.
You're at peace?
I am so unbelievably chill.
Do you hear it? It's just gone, or
nope. It's like now it goes from whispering in my ear to like rubbing my shoulders. Like he's happy, I'm happy. I am completely surrounded by filth and debauchery, and it's okay. It's cool, you know. So it's happy, I'm happy, and I am at peace, dude. I am totally at peace. I think that's how the world should look all the time, though. You know, I create like weird fashions and everything. I like to be very avant-garde with my fashions, and I think that's how you watch those movies like The Matrix or whatever. You see those parties where everyone's in this giant like room and everyone's all decked out. I'm like, why can't we look like that all the damn time? To me, like every day is so boring.
I think your attachment's helped you a lot with your creative side, and I don't think you'd ever be the person you are without it.
I wonder myself because there is absolutely nothing like this in the rest of my family. Don't get me wrong, I love my folks, you know, but you see, even love is
sometimes hate's stronger than love.
No, hate is always. I do believe in the whole idea that how Buddha says hate is like holding a hot coal. You're the only one who gets burned, kind of shit. You know what I mean? I don't hate. I don't have to hate. I don't need hate for vengeance. Sometimes it's just the principle is enough. Like the principle is enough to induce my vengeance. I don't need hate. Hate is it burns so much goddamn energy. It's such a waste. And on top of which, once you come down from that, I don't even want to call it a high, but when you're in full rage mode and hate mode, you're on a different level than you normally are. And it's, once you come down and you're like, oh shit.
You feel really low.
Yeah, exactly.
It drains you. It's so much.
It's like doing
energy.
It's like doing a ton of coke the night before. Like it might have been worthwhile while it was going down, but the next morning you feel like total trash. So I don't even bother with the whole hate thing.
You just make it an open environment, and it doesn't even matter where they're coming from. They just feel like they can talk to you, even if they are different valued.
I got that. It's I want to call it a talent. I don't know if to call it a talent or a gift.
It is a gift that a lot of people.
I have a knack. I have this knack. I don't know what it is. It
could be.
It could be it. You know what I mean? But I have this knack to where I can make anyone feel just so damn comfortable dumping all of their filth directly into my lap.
And exactly what you just said. It's like you don't know if it's the attachment helping you or not. Like when you're talking to people and people are just like, oh yeah, and then this and this, and they're telling you all their crazy stories. It's like your attachment, go on. Or is he just like?
No, he's like, hey man, do your thing, dude. I'm just gonna kick back and listen to you.
So he's chill, just like you're in the fetish community again.
He's like, peace.
So pretty much anything that's just debauchery, he's just like.
Not just debauchery, just darkness in general. Darkness has a lot of different faces. It has a lot of different. It's anything and everything.
Do you think that's why your relationships are like that? Because it's like you're just so attracted to the darkness that it's like you can't.
No, I don't think that's what it is now. I mean, in my youth, I had no problem dating. And my marriage lasted over 9 years. And then the next girlfriend after that was over 2 years. But. It wasn't until that last girlfriend after my marriage, after my marriage, then the girlfriend, that was the big tipping point for me. You know what I mean? We were really bad for each other, but we were both blinded by desire in the beginning to where we didn't stop to really, look at the bigger picture. We just saw what we wanted, jumped into it, and then we ended up moving in together a little too damn quick, and that's when we really got to know each other, and that's when we really figured out how bad we were for each other. You know what I mean? And she was one of those people where it was all like, I don't want to use the term manipulative. I hate that word. It's so overused nowadays. There's so many blanket statements thrown around now, and it really irks the hell out of me.
The cancel season.
Oh, I hate that shit. Oh my God, I have no sympathy for any of you. So
cancel.
No, I don't know. Dating her was such an emotional, turbulent, traumatic experience that after her, I was like, enough of this shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to live my life unabashed and unapologetic, and I'm not going to, like, compromise is one thing, but when you compromise to the point of retreat, and then you get so damn lost that you can't even recognize yourself anymore, I will never do that again.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
and then I moved here.
Yeah.
And then I meet these oh my god,
South Beach bitches.
Florida girls. You are so fun.
We're just gross.
You're so fun. You put the F-U in fun. You're so fucked up. I just won't. I can't. I won't. Not that I can't. I won't keep it together. You know me. I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of lovely young ladies. Lovely is a generous term, I swear, but I absolutely will not tolerate that nonsense, dude.
I feel you.
I won't. You know what? You didn't meet my last girlfriend, right? She was one of those chicks that was down as hell until we got together, and then all of a sudden he was like, you are not allowed to talk to other women. I'm like, you know what? You are not. She started laying all these fucking, like, totally absurd, like, overreaching rules. Yikes. And I was like, yo, that's not very little of you. It's not your place to tell me, young lady. It's my place to tell you. You know? And I wouldn't do that to you. Never, little or not. I'm not going to, like, bar you.
I'm cool. Like,
I'm not going to bar you from, like, associating.
I'm a cool dad.
You met my daughter. No.
I'm a cool. Your daughter's so cool. I love her makeup. I want her to do my makeup for my future wedding. You don't like her makeup? Why'd you growl?
No, this is really good.
Okay, I'm like, why'd you growl? I thought it was a growl of not liking. But
no, that's one thing that I'm glad she didn't listen to me on. I told her when she was little, stop fucking with makeup, you're too small. Stop fucking with, doing the dad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's 13, give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that, I'm the dad, I don't have to explain shit. And I'm like, stop, cut it out, you're too little, you're too small, you did it. And then her mom bitched about it, like, dude, she's fucking destroying my shit. She's like, she gets into everything, and we're not talking cheap makeup, she's getting the good stuff, and like, really fucking, like, I'm like, dude, cut it out, She didn't listen, and now look what she can do. She's awesome. Fucking beautiful.
So
the
good.
kid has major talent.
She needs to do something with it.
I keep trying to tell her, because I also been teaching her how to body pierce since she was 12. She's actually pretty damn good at it. For all that, listen, I used to be a master piercer. I was a master piercer for quite some time, actually, It was, I started young, 19. I pierced, I was damn near 30 when I quit.
Pierce my lip, let's do it.
I don't have anything. I should have said something, because I have my stuff at home.
Oh, shit.
I actually have a clutch of needles and my tools and all the cleaning agents and blah, 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 blah.
Does your, so... With your with Zoe and everything, do you ever talk to her about
Zoe sees them too.
She sees them?
She has something, I don't know what it is. Her mother's very sensitive. Her mother is very sensitive.
So maybe it is like a genetic thing that kind of just runs with you guys? And it's different or similar with all of you, like different ones?
With Zoe, it's spot on like me.
Thank you.
So, yeah, with Zoe, it's spot on. I told her not to say anything, in school, She got caught responding to it, right? And they were like, Zoe, are you okay? And they sent her to the guidance counselor, and then Zoe mentioned what was going on, and then they sent her to a doctor, diagnosed her bipolar, and gave her heavy medication that was not rated for her age bracket, and it fucked her up royally.
That's really fucked up.
Royally. Zoe's adolescence was a nightmare. Was a total nightmare. And, that's one of the only things I can think in recent years that truly enraged the hell out of me. She ended up...
Well, I mean, they just put her in the hospital and made her, or was it her mother's influence as well, or you just...
Her mother is a nurse.
Oh, okay. So she was looking at it
She was looking at it from a professional standpoint, the doctor knows best. Then I'm all like, dude, If this was a medical thing, yeah, maybe, but it's not.
Not a medical.
I'm trying to, I tried to explain. No. She didn't want to hear that shit.
Like, you need medication too, Doug.
No. She sees shit too. And I'm like, yeah, but it's with Zoe. It's worse. No, it's not. It's because she's young. She doesn't know.
And she was
She was so young. She always did that. It really irked the shit out of me. I'm like, dude, you can't coddle them like that. Like, you understand that the world is worse than you could ever imagine. You know this. We've seen it. We touched some of it. It's awful. I know she's our kid, but you can't protect her from these things. I can't protect her from these things. It is what it is. She's got a little straggler, And I asked Zoe, I asked her, I was like, hey, does it sound like this? And I whispered it in her ear. She broke down in tears. She was like, oh my God, that's exactly it. That's it right there. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, I got one too. And then she was like, well, why aren't you on pills? And I'm like, because I didn't say anything, dude. That's your doing.
That's a really harsh lesson to teach a child. It's like, because I didn't say anything. It's like, damn.
I told her not to say anything.
Yeah, it's like...
I was like, talk to me. Talk to your mother. Don't talk to the fucking doctor. He's going to put you on some jacked up shit that's totally going to mess you up. And it's exactly what happened. Listen, for a long time I thought I was crazy too. Remember when I said I thought I was possessed, or I thought I was cursed, or whatever, I thought I was damned. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, because I'm a big time reader, I was like, shit, maybe I'm just fucking crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy, because crazy people don't know they're crazy, But I've seen so many head shrinkers my whole life, but it wasn't because I was crazy. It's because my mind just operates on it differently. And I noticed it in my childhood,
Intellectual people are forever marked as crazy. So
and
you're very smart.
my mind operates differently. The last neuropsychotherapist that I had to see because of that head injury that I sustained, it was just part of the court proceedings that I had to receive a whole neuropsychotherapy evaluation, right? Which really sucked. I swear to God, it was so absurd. I felt like there might have been like a chimpanzee in the next room doing the same things I was doing, and I was being compared to this
two-way glass or whatever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was being compared to some ape in another room, and I'm like, these tests are really weird and random. What is this?
Ink blots? Or what did they do?
It was a whole bunch of memory, and then random hey, which comes. You see these things, these images. You see A, B, C. They're like, which one comes next? And I'm like, only using your logic, you know what I mean? And then I would pick from a variety of numbered options on the on the bottom of the page, and this stuff gets to you quick, don't it?
Made me burp in a weird way. It was like a honey burp.
It's good though.
I'm just gonna advertise for Vikings Blood real quick to our viewers out there. Good shit.
Yeah.
It's making the interview a lot more interesting for your folks out there, I hope. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, there's a hand and eye coordination kind of thing, memory, tons of things. It was basically 3 sessions, and they were the first one was 8 hours, the second one was a little shorter, and then the last one was this really, it was shorter, but it was a really oddball test on a computer screen that, I don't know, it was really weird,
Mm-hmm.
But after that was all said and done, the doc was all sharing the results, and she was like,
"You're crazy.
You're absolutely in no way, shape, or form schizophrenic or bipolar at all."
You hear that, folks? He is by no means schizophrenic or bipolar.
At all.
At all.
But you have, and then she gave me my IQ, and I was all like, "Oh crap! It went down 9 points." And she
I went down 9 points. How does your IQ go down 9 points? Oh, because of the... Oh, okay, I understand now. Sorry, I'm like, wait.
A lot of it was memory.
Really?
It was really shitty. I actually, after the accident, I had short-term memory issues for a while. It was really, really frustrating and annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Reading was extremely problematic.
You have to keep rereading everything?
Yes, 3 times. It was so frustrating.
That's me without my medication, though.
I knocked the shit out of myself so badly that, I would be, and I don't read I read kind of heady stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm like, for one, you already have to be well-read to read
it, yeah.
Dante's Inferno. You know what I mean? But when I have to read the same page 3-4 times for it to stick, and I'm like, and the worst part is, I've read this book several times already. I already read this, and I can't hold on to it. It was really frustrating. But yeah, I'm not crazy. I got a friend, she's a clinical psychologist. I'm not going to say where, but it is in South Florida. And she and I were talking, and she's like, no, dude, honestly, I would never in a million years would have pegged you for schizo or bipolar. The fact that you see what you see and hear what you hear is very, very interesting. The way she said it was almost Hannibal Lecter, very interesting.
It is very interesting.
You know?
It's like there's nothing to really compare it to, and it's like, I've known you for a couple of years now, and just hearing the couple stories I've heard about it, it's just like I still have no fucking idea.
In the future, take note when we're talking. If you catch me, like, you notice that I look at people when I speak.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little squinty-eyed. You're a little squint. I don't. I will look dead at you when I speak to you.
I'm trying to get better at it.
I know. But when you catch me while I'm talking to you going like this...
That's when he's...
No, that's when something's crawling across the ceiling or going up the walls. I'm like following the movement real quick.
Is he talking during that time, or is he just...
No, it's just something doing its
there.
thing. It's something doing its thing. Like I said, this thing is behind me. It's whispering into my ear. The other things, I don't know what they are.
So those are just something that comes with... It's like...
I guess it comes with the territory. I don't know. I don't
maybe
know.
Just something... Yeah.
I don't ask. I don't ask. I don't even bother with it.
What would happen if you did, though?
I don't know.
You want to try? No. I feel like that's a little...
Oh, I
don't
know.
know. Must be a little terrified, too. Well, maybe... Do you want to know what it is?
I don't care.
But why wouldn't you care? You're not even the least bit curious.
I think because of some of the way it was a while ago, like maybe there's a little apprehension due to fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like we may have evolved together, but it wasn't always this way. A while ago, it was bad. Like some of the things it said were bad, really bad. Like I don't want to even emphasize
talk about it.
But some of it was like its little suggestions were kind of horrible, and
of stuff to do to other people, or just
yeah. I've been caught talking to it once. Actually, not talking to it, scolding it
because of how bad it was.
It was so fucking rotten one day. I was at work too. It was going and going and going, and I'm like, Jesus. And I'm like listening, and I'm like, it just won't fucking stop. And then like I'm at work, and I'm trying to do my thing, and I'm like, will you shut the fuck up already? Will you shut the fuck up? And I heard someone like, hey, are you all right? And I turned to my coworker. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Will you shut the fuck up, Rick? Like,
so he's talking to me? Yeah, I didn't say anything. I thought you did. Shut up anyway. Go away.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
It used to be really rotten.
But it's evolved. It's matured.
Like I said, I feel like I'm in more control now. Ever since I've owned
the fact that it's there.
I think maybe back then it was taking advantage of my guilt and shame. And now that I've owned it, now that I've owned my darkness, you know what I mean? It doesn't have that power anymore. It can still be frustrating. It'll still give me like anxiety, like sensations in my body. But I know that it's not real. I'm aware of it. And that's how I tackle it. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it all comes down to for you. It's like a lot of people that would be in your situation would not have any type of control of this situation. So it's like, I think it was here to teach you something. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if it's a blessing in disguise, I mean, whatever you want to call it, in the end, it doesn't matter. It's there, and I don't know what to do about it. At this point, maybe a decade or two ago, I might have wanted to get rid of it. Now I just simply don't care. Like like I said, it inspires. It used to inspire beautiful words, like not beautiful in a traditional sense. I used to be in a death metal band. I could knock out some fucked up lyrics, like just go. Mm-hmm. And you've seen my illustrative work. It's darkness incarnate, and it helps and nurtures and coddles mine, if you will. Like, and that's when that's the closest to happy that I feel.
And you probably wouldn't even know where to begin if it wasn't there. Like, imagine your life in
if it was
silence.
gone, and if it was quiet, it would probably be maddening.
Too quiet.
Yeah, like too quiet, like maddening. Like, I sometimes feel like, see right now, like it feels like it's got a hold of my chest, and it's like
your heart chakra.
Yeah, and I'm like, ah. So sometimes I feel like if it was pulled away from me, would I feel lonely? Because I don't feel lonely.
You don't?
No, like...
You always feel satisfied even when you're just, chilling by yourself?
I'm by myself most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when people see me out and about is the only time I leave the house. And you only ever see me out and about, like, maybe on a Friday or a Saturday. But usually not on a Monday through Friday. Like, I'm home doing my thing, making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obsessively. Mad scientist-y, like, just crazy, like, it's almost a madness. But it's a madness that I can get behind.
And you like it.
I love it. Right now, I don't feel that, like, that yearning or that loneliness like a lot of other people want to connect with someone else. I don't know anybody that I would want to connect with. Not one person. I don't know anybody that I would want to, like, incorporate my life with someone. I don't know anybody that I feel I would even want to entertain the idea. Like, I feel perfectly at ease.
Do you think that he's kind of blocking you from that, though? And, like, I guess if you're happy, I guess that's not a bad thing.
Like I said, I don't feel happy, though.
Would satisfied even be a decent word?
I feel content.
I mean, I feel maybe he's blocking you from feeling.
Maybe.
But he's giving you creativity, which
Maybe.
is kind of emotional, right?
Maybe. I guess. I mean, like also, like...
I'm just, like, cracking the code, or trying to. There's no way I'll be able to crack it.
You and me both, and I got the fuck around my back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know what? Fun fact, I actually can't remember the vast majority of my childhood. Almost nothing.
Like, what age can you remember?
The thing, I have bits and tiny pieces. The things that I remember the most vividly are the really bad things that happened. That, like, I typically don't get into. Like, they're really bad.
Well, you had a couple near-death experiences.
I've had more than a few near-death experiences throughout my life.
Right.
More than a few.
And do you think that played a role in the memory?
No. There was some, like, heavily nightmarish, traumatic shit that people, like, never get over kind of thing. I know that went down in my youth, and I think that's why certain parts of my life are just blocked out.
Yeah. My mom used to say, she used to think that people would get, like, dementia and stuff as a way to, like, protect themselves from going crazy.
Maybe.
That was her theory. I mean, I personally, there's a lot of things I wish I could forget.
Well, no, as an adult, I remember all the horrible shit, but I guess... Okay, my parents have told me about things about my childhood, and they're like, do you remember these things? And I'm like, oh, fuck, no, I don't. I'm glad I don't. Jesus.
Thankful I don't remember that.
Wow, that happened to me? Like,
yikes.
Yeah. Well, like, I remember bits and pieces of Little League. I remember that when I was a child, I liked to skateboard and ride BMX bikes, I remember loving Star Wars as a kid, but there's huge parts that are just missing, And I was a dark and creepy little kid, too. Like, the kinds of thing when other kids like Saturday morning cartoons, I was all, like, really, really into, like, Jim Henson. And I really liked Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal and, like, that kind of shit. And you see these things on Facebook today, like, oh, these movies that ruined your childhood. Every single one of them, I adored. And that was the fucking childhood darkness in me that loved every single one of them.
I don't love The Crypt Keeper.
I don't see the never-ending story when that horse sank into the swamp as a sad thing. I loved that shit as a kid. I loved that movie. It showed that, like, everything is, nothing is sacred. everything has its time, whether it's fair or not. There is no fair. You know, there is no justice. Those are man-made concepts, you know what I mean? It's just things are what they are. Even as a child, I started touching on that, you know, and that's why, like, when I hear the things that my folks said, like, this happened to you as a kid, this was done to you, and it's like, oh, well, I'm not even mad about it anymore.
I'm not.
I just wish I remembered it.
I have, like, a similar thing that happens when my parents tell stories from my childhood, but it's never, like, stuff that I forget. It's just, like, how casually they bring it up. Like, it's just, like, that didn't, like, it wasn't even something that would be traumatic. It's like, oh, yeah, I smoked a pack a day when I was pregnant with you, and just, like, weird shit. It's like, wait, what? Thank you.
Okay, you could edit this if you like. No, my shit was, like, gnarly. It was really gnarly. There was a child molester in our neighborhood, and he was the father of one of my closest friends. And, my parents were like, oh, you stayed over there all the time. And apparently this guy got a lot of neighborhood kids. And he was eventually caught, you know? He was caught, he was arrested, but apparently he was, he totally victimized a lot of children in our neighborhood, you know? And at some point, special investigations of the military interviewed me. They were like, I was a person of interest, I guess, because I spent so much, there was something about it to where they were really focusing on me, you know?
But you don't remember any...
I can't remember any of it.
Do you remember spending time with the best friend? Of the guy who did
on the
it?
playground.
But never like
never
his
in
house,
his home. No.
Never
Even my
sleepovers.
my kid sister, like, remembers more than I, and she brings things up and tells it, and I'm like, I don't remember that. And she was like, dude, that was really scary. And I was like, I don't remember it. And we had a neighborhood bully that used to do things to smaller children, you know. And all I remember of him is how terrified I was of him, not because of something not because of, like, you know, because he used to, like, molest all the smaller children, but he also tortured and killed animals. He was extremely
serial killer in training.
Pretty much. You know, he was a really scary person, and that's all I can remember of him. The only when I think of him, all I can think of is that childhood fear, that terror, you know, of looking up at someone 3 times your size and who's out to hurt you. But I can't remember anything that happened. I just remember being afraid of him.
So you don't remember if your, like, attachment ever, like, when you felt fear, if it, like, said anything or, like, tried to, like, get you away?
Sometimes I wonder if it's the thing that's like, you
blocked it.
You don't need this.
You don't need
Get it out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think of what my family tells me about it, and I'm like, well, I don't remember any of it, so fuck it, you know. I don't dwell on it. I hear him, and sometimes I can feel him. Every now and then, when I know, it tells me about other people. Like, it'll tell me that they're lying, that they're fake. Look closer. Always look closer. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, it gets me out of a lot of shit because of that. You know what I mean? It's like a warning system. He's
a good judge of character.
No, I mean, well, it's darkness. Don't think it's not, but it's beneficial darkness because. No, hey, listen, the world isn't a happy fucking bed of roses. This is a nasty little first world fucking mindset. It's not the way the world operates. This thing is more realistic than that. You know, it tells me as much as I can psychologically handle, you know, how the world really operates. And as a result, I am not surprised by any of you anymore. And I have seen some fucked up shit. And I have witnessed with my own eyes, I have tasted it with my own lips, and we are a fucked up animal, you know? But you see, at the same time, I say fucked up in a negative, but is it really, or is it our nature? This thing is telling me, it's like, it's not, you know, it's not fucked up because it's morally, whatever, what are morals? I mean, where do you get your morals, you know? And it's telling me this is what you are.
Kind of goes like back to the calm of him just being, like, chill and, like, a really just, like, extreme situation.
I say he because I'm
Don't
just
know what
trying
else to call
I'm
it.
putting a label on it. It's an it.
An it, a he, a she, a they.
I don't know what it is, but and like I said, I've never asked, and I've never asked a name. All I know is that it's there, and it's also done other things for me that are very, very, very unusual. It is, me. I am a stone cold atheist. You know what I mean? But it has shown me things that even make me question, am I right? Am I right to be an atheist? It has shown me things where I'm all like, motherfucker, there's something you don't see every day. And it has helped me to do things.
It's actually kind of fascinating to me how hardcore atheist you are with how much you've seen and heard with this.
Oh, well,
friend of yours.
I told you about the Theod philosophy, right? So to me, none of it makes a difference. None of it makes a difference. It doesn't matter to me one way or another. If I'm wrong, well, shit, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Whatever. If I'm right to be atheist, cool. Either way, solves nothing. Your belief structure is just to help you get through the fucking day. What is going to be is what's going to happen.
But what happens after this if we're not right with the atheist thing? I mean, it does kind of matter to you at that point, right? I mean,
no. I'm at peace with it.
Even with your soul being tortured? I mean, we
By
don't know
what?
what's going to happen.
By what?
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
my life.
if
My
we're
life.
wrong, then
No,
we're
my
right.
life is one massive fucking 43-year-old sad story. It's shit. My beginnings. Nobody wanted me. Everybody, my dad fucking split. His family wanted me, nicked in womb, in utero. You know what I mean? My childhood, I was born directly into poverty, into the welfare line, standing in the food lines, fucking it's been nothing but trial and tribulation my entire existence. The one person that claims to love me more than anyone is the bane of my existence, putting more guilt and shame into my heart, into my mind, into my being than anything around me. And that is a fucking guarantee.
Who's that?
My mother.
Oh.
I think there's a massive hole in her heart. Massive hole in her heart that, she doesn't know any other way. I mean, I know her upbringing. It was very sad. It was very tragic, And I don't think she's ever fully recuperated or even grown from it. I think it still stings her to this day. In her mid-60s, I think she's still hurt by it, and she takes it out on everyone around her. And I'm the closest one in proximity. So I catch the brunt of her fucking pain and misery. And now that woman, I will say, is also manipulative. That's a blanket statement that I hate to use, but she is manipulative. The way she tries to twist shit. And I love my mother because she's the only one I have. It's kind of like love by default, But if I had a choice, I'd be like, oh my God, you ever shut the fuck up? But I don't ever tell her that because she's my mom. I mean, okay, that's
Spanish boys and their mom.
No. I mean, for good or bad, she is the cradle of my existence, and I for good or bad, and not a single one of us has ever asked to be here. Not one of us ever wanted to be here, but we are here. And when you think about it on a mathematical scale, the likeliness of your existence is astronomically against you. So the fact that you're here, I mean, I kind of have to give it up to her as much as I fucking can't stand her.
Sorry, Mom.
No, I'm not going to apologize. I told her today I can't stand her.
Oh, I'm apologizing for Rob.
But I love her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's my mom, so what the fuck are you going to do?
Exactly.
I have to be grateful for this
experience.
That is my existence. I mean, I'm well aware that most of you couldn't fucking handle this shit, and I'm sure that a lot of you got shit that I'd be like, fuck that, no thank you. You know what I mean? But dude, it is what it is. So I can't be ungrateful to it. Like I said, when she was pregnant, nobody in the world wanted me to be born except her. And I think it's only because she had a hole in her heart and she wanted something to love, no matter how fucking poisonous and toxic she was. Just something, please.
the circle of
It's
life.
the circle of life, and it's not always so fucking Disney.
It's really not. It's honestly
not so Disney. It's more turbulent and ugly than people want to accept. You know? My guy on my back, like I said, that's my guilt and shame and my pain of having this damn thing on my back. I only felt those things because I was trying to be everyone else's idea of how life should be. Once I nicked that shit, kicked that to the fucking curb, you know, and embraced what it is I am and what it is, I found a lot more peace in my life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that you don't really click with it, but it's kind of like a lot of the TST statements. It's like as soon as you just accepted the blasphemy and the darkness of yourself, it's like that's really when you can be happy, because there's so many people that, you know, live with so much shame, especially growing up in this Christian nation where you feel
absolutely
just, you know, kind of just put in a box and you have to be this certain way or otherwise you're evil or you're dark or you're just, you know.
If my purpose is to be someone else's definition of evil, so be it.
It's kind of fun.
No, come on, you know what kind of fun I have.
I know what kind of fun you have.
And I make no apologies. I live my life very unabashed.
You're doing God's work, Rob.
I am doing somebody's God's work. I have no God. I firmly believe no gods, no masters.
Does your guy tell you that, or? Because I mean, in a way, does he kind of try to control you? Do you ever feel like
Not
you're
anymore?
Because you have the control.
I told you, over the year, I felt like I've gained more control of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I think maybe that's the gag. Maybe I think I'm in control, and I'm only doing exactly what it's always wanted me to do.
You need to write a book.
You are like the 13th person to tell me that.
And I'm like the 13th person to try to interview you too.
No, you're not. There's been way more. Actually, as far as podcasts are concerned, like in recent months, you're like the third request, but the first actual.
Yeah, you heard it here. First fucking podcast with Rob Norman, the creator and owner, operator, mad genius.